The YSL RICO trial is now placed on suspension with a strong likelihood of a mistrial in the coming days. It would be reported, and I quote, "Young Thug's YSL RICO trial is on hold. Judge Glanville has agreed to have another judge address the defense's motions to have him recused from the trial."
Then transitioning to the last matter the court wanted to put on record. Upon further review, this court will in fact enter an order sending Mr. Adams and Steele's, Mr. Weinstein, and Mr. Banks' motion to recuse to another judge pursuant to Uniform Superior Court Rules 25.1 through 25.7 in the method and manner prescribed by our local rules. So this written order is entered. I will enter the order transferring it, and until such time as those two things are decided, then we'll be in recess until that time.
Which is one of the craziest things that we have ever seen in a very high-profile trial such as this. This would even get the attention of Kodak Black's lawyer, who would write, and I quote, "The case and the judge is off the reservation. This is an instant mistrial. I cannot believe the judge thinks taking a defense attorney into custody isn't a mistrial." As Young Thug's lawyer is the main reason Judge Glanville is now leaving the YSL RICO trial, because Glanville thought that it would be okay to have Young Thug's defense attorney Brian Steele arrested inside of the courtroom.
Take Mr. Steele into custody, please. Yes, sir, you certainly may. Mr. Williams does not wish to go forward without me being here. You are removing me against his will, my will. You're taking away his right to counsel. And you're conducting material parts of this trial without me present, and I can't learn about it by watching online. So for that reason, additionally, I asked for a mistrial.
As Judge Glanville wanted him arrested because Brian wasn't snitching, as the prosecutors were trying to pin evidence against Young Thug for taking somebody's life. However, Brian Steele got intel from a source relating to YSL Woody being guilty of it. However, that intel was only supposed to be known by the judge's corner, as they are the only few people that were supposed to know that YSL Woody was likely the person who committed the crime. So the judge would go on to ask Brian Steele, "How in the world do you know this?"
Note that for purposes of record. Well, I'm going forward. What I was told was that Mr. Copeland said... And you haven't answered my question yet. I'm not going to answer that question. You're not? No, I will not answer that question. Why will you not answer that question? Because I want to make sure that what I say is accurate, and I'm not trying to... No. I'm asking you, how did you get this information? I'm not telling the court. What I'm saying is based upon information... Okay, well, listen, if you don't tell me how you got this information, then you and I are going to have some problems. We can have this... I got problems right now. Okay, I know. Look, I don't want to know about your problems, okay, at this point in time. All I'm asking you at this point in time is, how did you come upon this information? Look, if the case gets reviewed... The record's going to be available for our appellate court and for whatever reason. But it's disturbing that how somehow you have surreptitiously gotten information in regards to the court's private ex parte conversation with a party. I mean, yes. A witness?
As right there, Brian Steele is standing on business for his client Young Thug. Sticking to the literal street code of never snitch, never tell, sources inside of the courtroom would even share that Young Thug was shaking his head up and down, showing that he respects what his lawyer just did. This really aggravated Judge Glanville, as he would end up even giving Brian Steele a jail sentence, which reads, "Young Thug's lawyer has been sentenced to 10 weekends inside of jail. He asks that if the appeal doesn't get him a bond, is he allowed to spend those weekends in jail with Young Thug?" And the judge agreed. Now, this would have meant that Brian Steele would have been bunkmates with Young Thug. However, Brian Steele's team of 40 lawyers were able to have Steele released from his jail duties on a bond. However, the madness doesn't end here, as reports would then come out sharing, and I quote, Young Thug's co-counsel Keith Adams just said that he has the same information as Brian Steele and has filed a motion for a mistrial. This would then leave hip-hop reporters sharing, "The Young Thug YSL RICO trial is in shambles. Surely this is a mistrial within 24 hours. With even Lil Baby reacting, saying, "Give Thug a mistrial and free slime." Now, the mistrial hope will happen for one specific reason, and allow me to explain. It's all based on the prosecutors not doing their jobs correctly. It goes and reads, "The judge in Young Thug's trial was just arguing with the state because they were unprepared with evidence. evidence.
That's too late. The evidence is excluded. The evidence is excluded. I'm going to exclude because I told you that this was going to happen. No. We're excluding that. This is the last. I am not going to tolerate this any further. If you don't get together with your colleagues and flag issues and resolve them promptly, and if I have to take them up, remember, I can exclude them. We'll work the weekends, or we'll do a combination of both. So this time, I'm going to exclude those two sections.
There's nothing.
I'm not going to have any more discussion about this, madam. I'm not. I don't. Well, you know what?
And I attempted to try to talk to them earlier this week.
Well, then that's why we have to.
Punishes the state because the defense.
I'm not punishing anybody.
This ended up leading into the prosecutors having a meltdown inside of court when it would be announced an ex-investigator with the Atlanta Police Department took the stand under cross-examination on Monday in the YSL RICO trial. During one moment, former investigator Lakia got into a brief exchange with defense attorney Max.
And D'Angelo White's response was, we had, correct?
Yes, he did say that, and it was more to that as well.
We had guns and
Yes, he stated that.
Okay. We, being plural, correct? Correct?
Are you insulting my intelligence by asking if we means plural? I think you are, though.
Okay.
I think you are.
All right, well,
Sir, don't do that. Don't do that.
All right, sir. Let's be respectful to our witness,
I'm being
okay?
very respectful, Judge, and I always will.
I doubt it.
As Young Thug's legal team is consistently arguing that the Atlanta Police Department are trying to lie about evidence on Young Thug because they don't even have anything else. This is when Thug's main lawyer Brian would call out the entire Atlanta Police Department for lying about evidence against his client, which reads, "Your Honor, as my eyes roll, I'm about to show you why I don't believe the City of Atlanta Police Department at all."
I have
No recording of whom? Who?
Detective Lewis at the hospital, Grady Hospital, September 11, 2013, meets with Walter Murphy. And Your Honor, as my eyes roll out of my head, I'm about to show you why I do not believe the City of Atlanta Police Department at all. This is served in discovery. I will mark it Mr. Williams C and D. And then you tell me if I'm supposed to believe the allegations from the state of Georgia.
However, this is where everything would get heated inside of the courtroom, and let me explain. The judge would first call out Brian Steele for stating that the Atlanta Police Department lies about evidence, because this would end up putting Brian Steele's job into jeopardy for calling out an entire police department for lying.
Well,
Not conceding that?
Well, I'm going to tell you that I haven't heard anything that would indicate that's truth.
Yeah, well,
That you have a good faith basis to ask that.
You haven't heard anything of who he spoke with. That's my point.
That's the point.
But you all can't. But you two, neither one of you can proffer that.
Judge.
It's not proper, Mr. Steele.
No. Listen.
It's not. It would be a violation before me for you to put that in front of this jury.
In the September 17, 2000.
You are saying to the court that you have a belief that there is another statement out there. There's not.
How could you say that?
Because it hasn't been brought up. If it gets brought up, then we'll correct it at that point in time. But right now, I'm going to direct you not to inquire that line. You don't have a basis to do so.
As the evidence that they are discussing is based around a man named Adrian Bean, the Atlanta police are trying to use evidence against Young Thug that Adrian told them in 2013. However, now in 2024, Adrian says he doesn't remember giving them any evidence. As the original report reads, keep in mind, unlike Trontavious Stevens, Adrian is not bound by a plea deal. He was a part of a 2013 crime where 4 people were involved, but 1 escaped and was never caught. They need Bean to snitch on Young Thug on the stand like he did with the police in 2013, as Young Thug ended up being that one person that escaped and was never caught in the 2013 crime. Adrian Bean snitched on Young Thug to get out of a jail sentence at the time, but since the police took a decade to start the RICO takedown of Atlanta, Adrian has now forgot about the crime.
After you answer the question, which you have to do.
Because I don't remember nothing that happened in 2013. That's what I'm trying to explain to you.
I understand. What I have to do is ask you some questions
noticed.
and determine what you do and don't remember. So, what is your response as to whether or not you recognize the images shown in Defendant's Exhibit number 8?
I don't remember.
All right. And I'm going to show you Defendant's Exhibit number 81. Do you recognize what's shown there?
No, ma'am.
All right. What about number 101 for Defendant Exhibits?
You see a car, but I don't remember it.
Okay, that's fine. Is your answer the same for Defendant's Exhibit number 82, number 89, and Defendant's Exhibit 90?
Yes, ma'am.
As lots can happen within 11 years, the crime did occur in 2013. Some sources claim that YSL members could have paid Adrian off to not snitch, but others believe that he actually did forget, as Adrian would go into the reasons on why.
I really don't have any knowledge about 2013, ma'am. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. I don't really have any knowledge about 2013. Once I have went to prison and came home from prison and done my time, everything that happened in 2013 or whatever has been put behind me and set forth. So I've been, working and just doing my thing since I came home from prison. I don't have no knowledge of nothing that happened 10 years ago.
Which is now the main reason that the YSL RICO trial will likely end in a mistrial, because without that evidence from the Atlanta police with Adrian Bean, the only evidence they have against Young Thug comes from one police investigator who would reveal that Lil Wayne has the same street affiliation as Young Thug.
And are you familiar with who this individual is?
I am.
And who is that?
It's Dwayne Carter.
Okay. And does he have another name that he goes by?
He does.
And what is that?
Lil Wayne.
And are you aware, through any of your non-trained experience, if Mr. Carter, Dwayne Carter, self-identifies as a member of?
I believe that he does.
Okay. Tell the jury, if you need to stand with the stick, and point to what those identifiers are within Defense Exhibit 31.
There's a large MOB across his chest, often used particularly by West Coast, but is used across the country. He has 5 red 5-point stars across his chest.
As the investigator is trying to prove to the jury that rappers have street affiliations like it really matters, he would then bring up a second rapper, which would be YNW Melly, as the two rappers were involved in a Facebook post together where they both claimed to be in street teams.
Same thing, the use of the slap term, 5-point star, snake. He's saying he's YSL, he's hanging with Doug, and he puts up his YNW for life hashtag on it with the 5-point star as well. Mr. Devins has the big B hand signs displayed.
Right, and these individuals again, I'm assuming that's also the Young Thug. That's also unknown.
Yes.
Also important to your investigation, correct?
Yes.
Also publicly available for anyone to see and capture.